I absolutely love 45 ACP, and whenever I see a new one, I always jump on the opportunity to try it out. Right here we have the Girsan Witness 2311 subcompact Gerson Brat in 45 ACP. This is a very intriguing gun. As soon as I saw this, I was like, wow, that could be amazing. Because this is a like 3.5-inch barrel, and it's basically a officer's size 1911, but it is a 2011 because of the double stack magazine. And what's cool about these 2011s is a lot of the times you can build them up and change things kind of like a handgun version of an AR. So you have a lower right there that's got a pin right here, also right here. And then you can take this whole lower off, this plastic lower, and then you have right here is the frame. This is an aluminum frame. And then on the top, or the slide, is the steel slide. So you can change these parts pretty readily now, and 1911s have some standardized parts where you can even have like drop-in triggers that you can pop right in here, which I tried out. And like I said, you can buy a ton of different lowers for it, and sights, barrels, stuff like that. So it is pretty cool to be able to customize this, and it comes in at a very good price point of about 700 bucks. So as soon as I saw all this stuff, I was like, wow, I need to try this thing out immediately. But here's what happened in even just the first 60 rounds with this gun. What's going on, boys? We got the Brat here, and we have our first shot, some 60 rounds in, and what I can tell you already is this right here is an extremely sharp edge. You can see that right there? It's a perfect sharp edge, and I'm getting a blister just after 60 rounds. This gun has a lot of sharp edges around it, and it's giving me a lot of... So I can tell you that already. All right, so you saw that. So I had a very quick, not great first impression of the Gerson Brat. And as you can see, I did a little bit of modification. So I took this gun apart, and as I mentioned before, I tried a drop-in trigger from Nighthawk Customs. Honestly, this gun from the factory, I saw some reports that it had a pretty bad trigger, but honestly, I didn't have that experience. My Brat has a pretty nice trigger. You have like the little normal 1911 take up, and then, man, I don't know, maybe like a 4-pound trigger. Honestly, it's not a bad trigger at all for a 1911, especially a $700 1911. I put in the Nighthawk Customs trigger pack, and I didn't even notice a difference, to be perfectly honest. One thing you'll notice is I did do a grip safety remove. This is like the delete kit that you can get, and all it is a grip safety that doesn't have the extension, and it catches the mainspring housing early on, so it's always depressed down. It does have like a slight amount of movement, which you could shim out if you wanted to make it solid, but I don't think 1911s any longer need a grip safety because we have the manual safety. And that is plenty. The manual safety on the Girsan is really, really good. It's super positive. It's quite wide, you can see on both sides. So it's actually a phenomenal safety. The Nighthawk Customs also, to be warned, the safety didn't fit it well. So I got like this double bump on the safety. You can hear right now it's just like a perfect positive up and down click. On the up click, when I had the Nighthawk Customs drop-in trigger, it wasn't a perfect up click. It was like a rough, gritty And I would have had to do like filing or fitting, and I'm not going to deal with that either. So slide release, very good. Grip texture is very good. So the problem with the Girsan is this. There are sharp edges all over this gun. And when it's in 9mm, maybe you don't notice this stuff. But you see these sharp edges right here, here, even down here? Like all of this stuff, and especially this edge. This edge is like razor sharp, and it just ripped my finger up within 60 rounds. And I believe the trigger is too, because on the bottom of my trigger finger, I had some gnarly blisters going on. So, I don't know, this thing just has so many sharp right angles to it. And, you know, if you're shooting 45 ACP, plus like I was shooting 45 ACP plus P, like defensive loads in this thing. So they're recoiling even more from Corbon. I mean, man, I could have taken a Dremel to this thing and just gone house. And maybe for $700 you would want to. Like you could buy this gun and you're like, all right, I have a good starter gun. You literally take a Dremel and you soften up all of these crazy edges, buy a new trigger shoe or soften the edges up. Soften the edges up or on the trigger guard, on the back here. You know, every place that has a sharp edge. Over here on the grip safety on the original one, that was pretty sharp. This one's nice and pretty soft edged right here, but the one on the original grip safety was a little bit sharp. All that stuff, if you ground it all down and made this gun nice and smooth, then yeah, you could have a perfect little project gun. But as is, man, if you're trying to shop for this thing, 45 ACP, this thing is just going to hurt to shoot. And if a gun hurts to shoot, I don't have a tolerance for it anymore. I'm not going to try to fix it anymore. And I just can't stand guns that aren't made by shooters and like tested properly. Because this gun, what it was a 9mm gun. They made it for a 9mm shooter. And in 9mm, it barely recoils, so you don't care about all this ergonomic stuff that you will with 10mm or 45 ACP that the gun's gonna be rocking around in your hand a lot, and then you're gonna see the occurrence of blisters and hot spots. All these metal frame guns, yeah, they're great, but maybe we forgot how to make them properly because you can't have a 90-degree sharp, super sharp angle like that. Just for reference, this is my full custom Infinity Firearms 2011, and this is a 45 ACP. And just to illustrate my point, this gun is hand built and finished and tuned by some of the finest gunsmiths in the United States. And I want you to take a look at the edges here. There is absolutely nothing sharp on this gun anywhere. Everything is smooth and rounded. The only thing that should be sharp on a firearm is the serrations. But even the serrations aren't sharp on this. They are grippy, but they're not even sharp. Every edge that you will come in contact with is nice and smooth. You have smooth edges all around here. Smooth edges. This is a shooter's gun. This was made by a shooter for a shooter. And that's to illustrate my point. Obviously, you're not going to get $7,000 quality on a $700 1911. But this is a TSOS Night Stalker, one of my favorite 45 ACP guns I own as well. And this is actually a budget gun. This doesn't cost much more, if at all, than the Brat. And I want you to take a look at all of their edges. Everything is chamfered and rounded. And you're not going to get any hot spots on this gun as well. Even up here, everything is rounded. So yeah, it's not just the super expensive guns that can do this. This gun is just not designed great. That's my review of the Brat. I think it is very cool. It's a good project gun, but if you're gonna get it in 45 ACP, you're gonna have to do some work to make this thing ergonomically comfortable to shoot. Otherwise, it's just gonna hurt. It's not worth. So there's stuff you can think about that people don't often mention. The hot spots on guns that aren't made for the shooter. There you go, guys. There's a Gerson Brat.